Namaste and welcome back to Waking Up with Mindful Surrender Yoga. And we're going to continue the 4-minute exercise of pulling a concept or word from a jar and just talking briefly on that, whatever it is. And as I've mentioned before, these are probably related to our progress in becoming more conscious and aware, or some people say more of a spiritual journey. And I'm always very cautious with that word. Now, these will obviously be very imperfect. The last one I did, I don't even think I combed my hair. And it was just to get beyond the image. I love doing this in these imperfect ways because it helps me to get beyond the image I'm trying to create. The image my ego wants me to create of this, person that can attract attention and say everything perfectly, and this is not what this is about. This is about the message and what I have learned through some hard studying and hard work in this area of waking up. So that's what I'm sharing, and I'm sharing it for all kinds of reasons. Anyway, I will digress because, man, do I have a tendency to go on and on. I'm going to, first of all, make sure my timer is okay, because it tends to go off on me. So it's going to be 4 minutes. I'm going to dig in before I do that and pull out a word. Okay. And the word I pulled out was masquerading self. Masquerading self. And I'm going to start the timer. What is the masquerading self? According to Yogananda, who was a famous yogi who came to America in the early 1900s, 1920s, around there, 1920, 1940, I think. Anyway, he was the one that came up with this term, I believe, of masquerading self. And the masquerading self is basically this persona that we show to the world. It's almost like we are putting on a mask when we go out there into society, when we go out there in public, when we go out there in our everyday life. And when we look in the mirror, we also want to have that mask on because we want to see ourselves in a way that feels more comfortable on the inside, right? So we create these personas. Now, our personas or our psyches or our personalities are based on all the stored events, or all the events we've had over life and what we've stored and stuffed inside us, what we tried to avoid experiencing again, or what we're clinging to so we can experience again. It is this image, and I want to stress that image of who we think we are, okay? And most people, many spiritual teachers will refer to it as the ego self, okay? The self of us that isn't real, but is what we want to show the world, okay? That's our masquerading self. It's like most of us are hiding behind these costumes and these masks because we don't know who we are, because of conditioning and stored trauma and pain and messaging we may have received since we were little. We may have all these negative ideas inside us about who we are, or we may have overly positive ideas about ourselves that we are clinging to or trying to keep down away from our conscious awareness, and we feel very uncomfortable, maybe unworthy. So when we go out into the world, we want to present ourselves in a way that make us feel like, hey, maybe I'm not so bad. If they like me and they approve of me, maybe I can ease this feeling of discomfort I have inside me about how I truly am. So masquerading selves are the personas that we put on for other people, the masks we wear, and we all wear them. We all wear them in our vulnerability, and they protect us from the vulnerable self and experiencing the vulnerability of our emotions and the discomforts and the unpleasant things in life that we constantly trying to keep down. So if we create an image, it's like a shell we wear around ourselves. But when that shell starts to crack, even just a bit, by life events or other people criticizing us, for example, it's a wonderful opportunity, because what happens is the real self starts to emerge through. The light of who we truly are starts to emerge through. And we start to become vulnerable and afraid, red and raw, but at the same time we're healing and we're becoming who we truly are. And we get to face that, who we truly are. And that is our goal as human beings, I believe, to come into terms with who we really are at the deepest level. be well beyond the masquerading self we present to others. We are not the masks we wear, people. We are the essence that is wearing those masks, or that is watching the human we call ourselves wear those masks. Right? We are the essence, the sitting in the seat of consciousness, watching these human beings with these bodies and minds dress themselves up in costumes, present themselves to others who are really just us in other disguises. And that's how we tend to process through life. So the masquerading self then is something we want to learn to remove so we can be the self with a capital S. I'm hoping that makes sense. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.